this. You'll have to click OK that you're happy for me to record you guys. Am I still cutting out on you, Danielle? Or am I okay? Because I've popped everyone on mute. No, it's better. Perfect. I think it was because that's cool. If anything happens, do let me know about that. Thank you. Debbie doesn't have Trello. Trello is a free like project management tool. Now you do have most of it in the workbook, but the benefit of the Trello is you can copy this for every time that you do a launch. And in doing that, it just means you can really personalize it to your business. And if you save graphics and links to Canva, it will work. But as we get towards the end of the presentation, I'll talk you through everything. So thanks everyone for telling us more about your business. That's really, really amazing to find out. I've just got a question to ask everyone. What's everyone's plans over the Christmas period? Just so I know how to tailor it. Are you going to be working over Christmas in preparation for January, or are you taking it off? So raise your hands if you're going to be taking it off. Yeah, cool. It's probably half and half. And what's everyone else planning to do? Please pop in. Are you planning on, how do I raise my hand? You can just do this, Carol, if it's easier for you. There's a little raise your hand thing on the bottom side, whichever works for you, whichever you find easier. That's cool. That's why we were doing this now, is so that people have the chance to kind of take on board everything. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit why I wanted to create tonight's presentation, talk you through the format, and then if you've got any questions, you can just let me know. I tend to find, now I've been doing this for quite a wee while, is that come January, everything goes gung-ho in showing you how to set goals for January, and it becomes very income orientated, it becomes very reactive. It's all about taking action for now to build and grow your business. And very seldom does it take into account that we need to build our foundations, that we need to create launch plans that are going to work for us all year round, and that we actually need to know the benefits of creating a product suite. And I'm going to talk you through that. And I've got some really cool examples. And basically what we're aiming to do is to move away from the bullshit that I feel is in all of our markets, that it's all about the volume, the volume, the volume, and that you're almost a shit person or a very shit business owner if you don't have these vanity metrics, if you don't have like 10,000 followers on Instagram, if you're not making reels every day. And what people are really forgetting is they're forgetting to build the foundations in their business. Now, the core foundations in everyone's business start with your leadership, and they start with you knowing what's required to build a business. And that's essentially that we have a plan and that we implement that plan, you know, and then we bring in all of the different things. That's where we can be triggered. That's where mindset things can come in. That's where motivation can come in. But that's one of the core foundations of building your business. The second core foundation is our marketing and our messaging. And that's our marketing for our business as a whole. And it centers around our customer. And then we have our messaging for our individual products, right? And where tonight fits in is in the third foundation is selling, is how we sell what you offer, but not sell in the terms of let's frantically try and find as many people as we possibly can to sell to. It's selling in terms of how do I create a sales strategy that works. That means when I bring customers into my business, that I take care of them, that I look after them, and that I build my business around creating the right customers for as long as I possibly can. And the benefit of doing that means your customer acquisition comes down. You're not always trying to find new customers, new customers, new customers, and you create a longer journey. So that means your customers become more valuable. And I've got some really cool examples that we're going to talk you through tonight. So how does that sound for everyone? Do you think your business would change if you could bring on more customers, the right customers, but also take them on a longer journey where they spend more money with you? What's everyone thinking? Okay, if there's anyone not sure, that's okay, you can tell me. Don't suffer in silence, by the way. If I'm saying something, you think, right, that's a load of shit. You know, you can just tell me, so just come off mute and go, right, I don't quite get that, or it's not quite working for me. Because what matters tonight is that you take on board what works for you. And really, we're going to appeal to two particular learning styles. Does everyone know how they learn or how they take on and implement information? Got two ways. One is kind of sequential, you like a step-by-step process. You like a formula, you like to be told this is what to do, in which case we've got some step-by-steps in the workbook. The other way, this is kind of how I work more, is I'm more of a global learner. I like to get a view of absolutely everything, and I like to pull in what works best for me. So can I have a raised hands for anyone who thinks they need a step-by-step process in order to implement? Perfect. Lindsay, Stacey, cool, perfect. Towards the end, I'll talk you through your step-by-step process, and I'll just ask you not to worry about anything that doesn't matter. And for those of us who like to take on board absolutely everything, filter out what doesn't matter to us and just implement what we like. Hi, Liz, I love that about you. Yes. And Debbie's raised her hand there too. And Danielle, perfect. Cool. And all I'd ask is that when you're making your to-do list at the end, is that we commit to an implementation period, is that we commit to 30 days whenever you want to start of implementing what we're learning combined with what we already know. So if I say something tonight and you're like, I already know that, but you're not implementing it, it means you now need to implement it. And that's what I'd invite you to do. It's not a case of, right, we're going to go and learn more and more and more, because if we're doing that, we'll be learning forever, because there's always fucking shitloads to learn and it never stops. And remember, there's money in overwhelm, there's no money in implementation. So people can sell you a secret to quench your overwhelm, but they cannot tell you a secret to encourage your implementation, because that's on you. So I'll talk you through some of the different ways that we can do implementation at the end. And is everyone okay if I get started with the presentations? Anybody got any questions before we go? Cool, that is absolutely perfect. Hi, guys. Oh, and I will minimize ever so slightly for the recording. So if you just give me a second. Cool. Hi, guys. My name's Orla, and welcome to the Growth Lab Masterclass. In today's masterclass, we're going to create your formula for predictable business growth in 2022. Which, when I was writing it, I have to admit, sounds a lot easier than actually saying, well, what the hell is that? So what we mean by that is predictable, and that's that it happens in a way that you know about it in advance, so that you plan it in advance and you become more strategic and more intentional about your business growth. And the formula is basically that we take into account what works for best practice, but combine it with what will make you stand out in your industry. Because lots of industries right now are very formulaic, and there's no room for personality, who you are, and who you stand out from the crowd. So I've tried to pull together different examples, but I will ask you to go on a quest to find more examples and more inspiration for your business afterwards as well. How to get the most out of this masterclass. I am recording it. You will be emailed a copy of the recording tomorrow. But just for tonight, it would be really great if you can turn off your phone and pop your screens on so we can all get to know each other, because we will be going into breakout rooms together. If you fancy, I'll put that in capitals in case none of you can read. If you could share on social media that you're here, that would be absolutely amazing, and just tag myself. And commit to 30 days implementation post-workshop. I cannot stress that enough, but that 30 days starts whenever you're ready. The thing about launches and the thing about growing our business is that the day we sow the seed is not the day that we reap the harvest. And we have to allow consistent implementation over time in order to see the results that we want to. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to stop the screen share for a second to let Carol in, because she'll come in just a second. I'm just going to give you a little bit about my story, just to give you some peace of mind that you are in good hands. Before I started my own business in 2017, I had 11 years experience in business development, and I was working in competitive markets. I worked in the property industry, so full of businesses that had no differentiating factors whatsoever. And during that time, I qualified as a certified business and life coach, so I understand how the internals impacts your business. I'm more passionate when working with business owners about discovery, about what's going on internal, and finding out more about us. So I used to focus a lot on mindset, don't so much anymore. It's more on lived experience, trauma, who we are as people, to try and become the best business owner. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight. We're going to cover 4 key areas in the masterclass, right? We're going to cover setting intrinsic goals. I don't know if anyone else has found this. I'd love for you to raise your hands, that 2020 has kind of changed everything in terms of goal setting, that we've moved away from this carrot and stick. You know, we don't need to be going into town working, we don't need to be going out after work every Friday night. Like, it's changed how we see our goals, and lots of us are caught in this crevice between what we were told we should aim for when it came to goal setting and what we really want. Then we're going to get down to using a product suite to generate more sales for your business, launching what you offer to your existing customers, and implementation. Sorry guys, I'm just doing that so I can let Carol back in there again. So first of all, I would like to start about setting intrinsic goals. Who has done this before? I'd love if you could share in the chat, who has focused on intrinsic goals in the past? And I'm going to come back to everyone while I ask this question. Who has set intrinsic goals? You can come off mute and tell me.
What do you mean by an intrinsic goal?
I'm glad you've asked that, so I can explain that. So it's moving away from the carrot and the stick goal setting. It's moving away from when you achieve a certain income in your business, you will have a business that matters. It's moving away from, sorry guys, I'm putting you on mute if there's background noise coming up. It's moving away from external things. So what we know is that it's internal that matters. So can I ask, who here has wanted money or wanted status or wanted things but still not worked for it? Who here has thought, oh, do you know what? Especially before the swipe up on Instagram, I'll only have a viable business if I get to 10,000 followers on Instagram. Who here has thought, actually, that would be amazing, but still not done it? Intrinsic goals are about you finding out. And now this is going to take time because we're trained in this from kids. Like I see it now with Ultin. He really wants something and I go, well, I get you a lolly. Sorry, now if I'm traumatizing you. I'll be like, well, I get you a lolly. And it's like, we are trained from such a young age to aim for things outside of ourselves to bring us happiness. And we know that doesn't work. So I'm going to talk you through a 3-step process for intrinsic goals. That is cool. I'm going to go back. So intrinsic goals relate to the pursuit of things that are meaningful to you. So what motivates you in your business may not motivate me in mine, and they're very much personal to you. The problem with modern day goal setting is that they focus on hygiene factors, and I'm going to talk you through those, and not the impact you and your business can really make. They're all about implementation and not about factoring in lived experience and what's going on in your life. I don't know if anyone else can have a relation to this, but any stumbling block you've ever come to in your business, you've been told it's mindset. Is that just me? It's like, oh, you don't want that. That's money mindset. You don't want that. That's a confidence issue. That's the thing. When we're not actually taking into account that we all have had different life experiences, that somebody might have had a trauma from childhood relating to money, relating to exposure. We might have never felt seen as children, and now we're asking ourselves to show up. So when goals are all about just do the work, just hustle, it's really difficult. So I'm going to talk you through some ways where you can implement it, you can heal at the same time, and they're built around shame. And hygiene factors are all of those things that we are demotivated if we don't have, but they do not motivate us to take the action that's required. So if we don't have an income, if we don't have good pay, if we don't have nice working conditions in our business, we're demotivated if we don't have them, but they don't motivate us to take action. Sorry, guys, I have to stop the share again because there's more people coming into the room and I can't let them in while I'm sharing the screen. So I'm just going to ask everyone to stay in. Hi, ladies, I've let you all back in. If you do have to nip off, stay in the room so that I don't have to stop the presentation, if that's okay with everyone. Danielle, you've raised your hand. Have you got a question at all? That's okay. Okay. So.
No, just having some technical issues, sorry.
No, don't worry, so long as I get to you. So hygiene factors are those things that if we don't have them, they demotivate us. So it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So those first things that we look for. But when we're setting goals, lots of us are naturally deviating towards hygiene factors, how much money we want to earn, how many followers we want to get on a particular platform, what our conversion rate is. And all of those things matter, but they're not intrinsic, right? They're not going to spur us on necessarily when times get tough, because if the kids are a nightmare, if we're having a really hard time, we need to be motivated from within. And there's a really fantastic 3-step process to determine what your intrinsic goals are. Now, guys, I'm going to invite you to play around with this, because we've been focusing on SMART goals, planning out your year for so long, that to now look at this differently might seem a little bit scary. So try it, test it, come back to it, see what works for you. But the 3-step process is, what's your purpose? Okay, so what's your purpose for running your business in 2022? What's possible for you to achieve? Autonomy, how you can do it your way. Okay, how you can stand out in your industry, how you can bring your personality. We're seeing now lots of industries really, really struggle because they've taken autonomy away from the people that needed it the most. And the third thing, this comes down to more of your implementation. What do you need to master? So I've got some questions, and I'd like you just to take a second. I'm going to go slow so you can answer them, and they're also in your workbook. What is the purpose of your business in 2022? Do you want to bring joy to lots of people? Do you want to have lots of fun? Do you want to introduce your industry to a younger market? Do you want to transform lives? You know, since becoming a single mom, my purpose has changed massively, because I see more of a focus on sales, finances, strategy for business owners. And I will be quiet while you're answering. I want you to think about what's possible for your business in 2022 if you become more focused on your purpose. You know, if your focus was on transforming an industry, what would your focus be like in 2022? If your focus was on helping people transform their bodies, what's possible for you in 2022? If we moved away from the bullshit, it has to be income orientated, it has to be metric orientated. What's the purpose of you running your business? I also want you to think about what's the purpose of your business from your customer's perspective. You know, how can their lives change as a result of your business in 2022? What can you help them achieve? How can you help them feel better about themselves? What's the transformation in their life as a result of your business in 2022? We are going to move into a breakout room in a minute, so that's why I'm moving on right now. But I want to ask anyone who here follows Tony Chocolonely on social media and buys their products. Amazing. This example just came to me as if by magic today, because I was scrolling through social media and everybody was moaning that day 8 was missing on their Christmas countdown calendars. I don't know if anyone bought one. But it was deliberate. So one of my clients sells them. So someone posted in our group. So I took notice. And then they shared it that they deliberately remove the chocolate from day 8 so that you notice your chocolate's missing, so that we can then start the conversation about what's going on in the chocolate creation industry. So in Ghana and the Ivory Coast, all of the millions of children that are working under illegal conditions. This is an example of a business with a purpose, right? The purpose of their business is to raise awareness for what's actually going on in an industry that should not be happening. It was absolutely incredible to see all of the comments below, but your purpose can come from any industry. Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be out there like committed to being Mother Teresa or anything. Any industry can have a purpose that makes them stand out from the competition. And I thought this was amazing. And their comments, by the way, if you go onto their social media and see the comments, like white privilege was like rocking in the comments below, and they handled it so well. It was incredible. The next process in setting intrinsic goals is autonomy, is finding a way to do it your way. And that means you acknowledging the fact that you are the captain of the ship when it comes to running your business, that we cannot hide away from the fact that what makes your business different is the fact that you run it. There's lots of debate around brands and whether or not we can hide our face from the brands. Yes, we can, but most of us are mums here. And if we consider that by human nature, humans are attracted to other humans' faces, it's just human nature. We like to see more about the person that runs the brand. You know, Elon Musk has way more followers on social media than any of his brands. You know, Jessica Alba, more people gravitate towards her than do to the Honest Company. So when we're looking at doing it your way, it's about thinking, how can you bring more of you into your business? Where have you been holding back? What stamp do you want to put on your industry? What do you not want to do in 2022? Is there anything that you've done so far that you're like, well, that can fucking stop? It was gruesome. What are your strengths that you want to take into your business? How can you focus on running your business your way more so than focus on what your competitors are doing? So I'm just going to give you a minute or two to answer those questions. And then we're going to move on to the third step. And this is the action taken step in setting intrinsic goals. And it's about mastery. What do you need to master in order to achieve your goals? So in order for you to create the purpose that you want to create in your industry, in order for you to do it your way, what do you need to master? And this is where I'd recommend that you bring in your support network. This is where you think, okay, do I need a coach's support? Do some clients come to me in therapies? What's needed? You know, there might be past issues that are holding them back from putting themselves forward. You know, it could be more strategy. You know, it's like, what do you need to master in order to achieve your purpose? Visibility, integrity, marketing, promotion, self-care, self-discovery, self-discipline. It's whatever works for you. Guys, we're going to take a time now to do a breakout room. And we're going to do a breakout room for 15 minutes, if that's okay with everyone. And we're just going to have a chat because we want this to be a networking opportunity for everyone, but we're going to hopefully stay focused, although I'm not going to jump in and tell you what to do. And it's literally, we'll start with the person whose name begins first alphabetically. I'm seeing like Danielle. So whoever's in your group that the name begins, you take a few minutes to talk about how you feel about setting intrinsic goals. The great news is we've got some life coaches on the call today, which is always brilliant. How you feel about setting them, and just share with us, what is your purpose for 2022? What's your autonomy? How you're going to do it your way? What's that spark in your personality that you want to bring more of in your business? What's that knowledge? What's that skill set? And thirdly, what you need to master. So we've got time now between now and January to get your support network in place. Yeah, Jen, if you come back in, I will definitely be able to let you back in. So I'm going to automatically do this 50. I'm going to do 4 breakout rooms and they'll be assigned automatically. So just accept, and we're going to have until 1:15.
I can't hear you, Orla.
That's because I'm on mute, Monica.
Okay.
I thought I'd come off it. I was like talking to myself there.
Could you tell me how can I do, the settings that I can see everybody? Because I can't just find that.
Up on the top right hand side where it says view. Sorry, Monica was just asking if anyone cannot see everyone. To go to your view on the top right hand side and to click on gallery mode.
I can't see that.
Are you on a
Can
laptop?
I just cancel? I will just leave. Could you let me in again?
Of course I can. Yeah. Sorry guys, I just muted for the backlog. Who's going to be brave enough to share, if you feel comfortable, to share some intrinsic goals for 2022? Anyone? Erin, yes, join us.
Yeah, I was just saying, although I've written it down, it doesn't really make much sense here, but I'll try and get it over. But basically, so I own a vintage antique and curiosity shop, and one of my goals is to try and kind of, because I've had a little shop, I'm only open on the weekends, that I've had since May, and it's been really slow going just because I'm only open 2 days a week at the minute. Yeah, one of the things that I'm really passionate about is kind of letting people see that it can be something that you can incorporate into a modern life, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be fun. It doesn't have to be like old fuddy-duddy stuff. It can be something that you can really enjoy, and while you're doing that, it's also really eco-friendly as well to be reusing older items that are in really good condition as well, obviously. So but yeah, I need to kind of get better on social media, because for it being an antiques industry, it's really online just now, like everything, I suppose. But yeah, I see like other people who I know I'm comparing myself, but other people who have tens of thousands of followers and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of this little place, but I do quite like that, that people can I kind of feel a wee bit more approachable than some of these bigger companies. And yeah, the other thing I was saying is I don't really show my face on my social media all that much. I didn't really, I had said that I don't know where I heard it, but I heard one person say, and I've heard 100 people say that they love it, but one person had said that they don't like seeing the face behind the brand. And it really, really stuck with me because it scared me. And I thought, oh my God, I'll never show my face then. So I really need to get better at that, because I have customers coming in, they go, oh, what was your name? I don't actually know what your name is or anything. I see your social media all the time. So I have to get better at that. That's really shocking. So yeah, that a bit of a jumble, but those are some of my goals for next year with the business.
Oh, amazing. And the eco-friendly thing is huge right now to get people involved. Oh, so we need to master social media.
Yes.
And master that kind of showing up. And I think coming on to how we can increase the value of every sale is going to make it work really well for you. I don't know if you follow them on social media. There's a company in Enniskillen in Northern Ireland. It's called Osborne's of Enniskillen. Now they're a product-based business. They're like a gift shop, but check out their social media and how they've grown using Reels, specifically using Reels. And like their products are very niche, but they show them off in such a way that's amazing.
Yeah, Reels are, I have no idea about Reels. I do not understand them at all. So I need to try and figure all that out as well.
Check them out. If anybody's wondering when we hear things like the number of people we need, like the number of followers, like 1,000 people that will buy what you sell will give you an amazing lifestyle business. And lifestyle businesses are considered to be up to about 100K in income. So it's not a case of we need to get to those 10,000 followers. It's much better that you have 1,000 followers that would actually buy from you than other people that won't, with the systems underlying that we're going to talk you through tonight, Erin. But thank you so much for sharing that. Can we have one more person? Maybe.
Orla, I don't mind sharing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi, and I'm not sure if my video is on or not. It wasn't in the breakout room. Oh, it is. Oh, that's good. One of the things that I want to try and do is I'm hoping this is an intrinsic goal, but I want to try and I've written down tame the ostrich. So when I see something that's like too big for me or seems like a huge mountain to climb, I'll often stick my head in the sand about it for ages, and sometimes think the issue might go away or time might move on and then the opportunity's gone or whatever. Or sometimes it's like I finally do it like 18 months later and it was such a quick and easy thing. I think, why did I not just do that? And I feel like my business would grow a lot quicker if I stopped doing that. Yeah. But I don't know how I'm going to do it.
What's the ostrich that you need to tame right now in your business?
Right now, this seems like such a silly thing, but so a lot of my admin, like I got married and I'm sort of like halfway between changing my name and some places I'm my maiden name, Houghton, which you're seeing on the screen now, and some places I'm Jackson, and that's causing me untold problems trying to get a business bank account, trying to do things like PVG checks and things like that, which I'm going to need to do for this year. So yeah, I think it's like a great big, I'm making it into a bigger issue than it is. I think I just need to set a day and like tell everybody of the name change. But it's really hard for me.
Yeah. Well, Carol's keeping it in perspective. There's about 12 years and Lindsay's 10 years and still working on it. So that's amazing. Yeah. If you were to set a date, I think you said you just want to put a date on, what would that date be?
So my birthday's on the 18th of January, so that feels like that could be a good time. So I wouldn't let another birthday go by without telling the bank.
Amazing. I'll be putting in my notebook to message you on the 18th of January. Oh, and congratulations on your wedding, by the way.
It was 6 years ago, Orla.
Oh, Jesus. Well, get that changed before the 7-year itch.
Yeah. Otherwise, there might not be any point in changing. Could just change back.
Oh, I love it. We'll come to implementation for your business as well, but it's about like focusing down, and it's about finding what works for you. But in the Epic, we talk about like our CEO meetings all the time. If you're not having one of those with yourself, but like a meeting once a week where you actually become strategically focused on your business and getting it out of the house and getting it so that's a sacred space. Like I know like Stacey's got like a little ceremony around hers and making it work really well for her, but do that to make sure. But we will come on to some implementation. Did anybody not get a chance to share in the breakout rooms that would like to share just now? Did everyone get a chance to share? Okay, cool. I am going to go back to our presentation. We're going to move on to part 2. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, this is something that I get really excited about. So if I kind of contain myself, just bear with me, about using a product suite to generate more sales for your business. Now, if you've never heard of what a product suite is, you'll know it when you see it. But if you have not heard the description, it's basically a collection of connecting products or services that combine together to solve your clients' problems. So it's you as a business offering a complete package that might not be possible in an individual product or in an individual service. Like a really basic example of that is like McDonald's having an all-day menu, having a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. Their entire menu solves all of my problems if I want to eat at McDonald's. But if I go in for breakfast, I'm not going to order everything that's on the menu. So as a business, the reason that we want to create a product suite is for customer retention, because it's the most important thing for your business growth. It's what adds more value to the customers and what makes them stay with us for longer. And like, I know that even running this today, I have people coming back, and I'm so grateful, by the way, thank you so much, and new faces in as well. And that's essentially what you're looking for in the balance in your business. Now, the benefits of customer retention is more profits. Studies show that 5% increase in retention can increase profits by 25 to 95%. I'm going to give you an example in just a moment. The lifetime value of the customer increases. Now, when we think of the lifetime value, it's the value as they shop with us for a period of time, or as they are our clients or our customers for a period of time. It's not just the first sale. And I think the first sale is what maybe small businesses, we let ourselves down on, is we're constantly focused on that. Let's bring them in for that one sale. And we forget to have those systems in behind that we're going to talk about today. Less cost, depending on what study you look at, it's between 5 to 20 times more expensive to attract new clients into your business than sell to existing ones. And you own the journey, and you become less reliant on social media. It's only, 2 months since Instagram crashed and everyone was going nuts and realizing that actually without Instagram, without social media, which we're at pains with, without the asset that is our only owned media. Now, our only owned media, it's different when we have a shop, we have people coming in, but that database of people, which is our email newsletter, which we will be heavily focusing on you building up tonight. And that is a non-negotiable, because that's like you having a cafe, but opening a cafe in another coffee shop. And then at any day, they could close that down or bring in another person to run the cafe. Having your own email list is having that asset that's essential for your business. And how will you retain your customers? You retain your customers through the creation of a product suite. And I want to talk to you why. Now, guys, this is really basic math, by the way, so just bear with me with this. Is it really worth it? Like, because is it really worth it to go to the effort of what I'm going to talk you through tonight? You know, like, we're all busy, and kind of keeping going with our business often takes precedence to doing this extra work that we don't actually reap the harvest for straight away. And I'm hoping this will convey why. If you have 10 clients and they buy from you twice a year, so can I get a hands up from everyone in here? Have you got 10 customers right now in your business that would buy from you throughout the course of the year? Yeah. And if they were spending £10 at a time, that's an income of £200. The mistake that most businesses make is that we think we have to become experts on social media, become the #1 guru in our business. And while that's important only to an extent, and we become so heavily focused on growing our audience, growing our following, reaching new people, that we suffer from overwhelm, comparisonitis, paralysis, when actually, if we just focused on 13 clients, so that's 3 new clients. So who here thinks that they, in their social media following, in who they've been working with, has got 3 potential clients sitting in there. Yeah. And who thinks that actually, do you know what? They're buying from me twice a year right now. I could get them to buy from me once more a year. If you're not sure, we can work on that. Don't worry. And then instead of them spending a tenner, we don't want them to double what they're spending. We just want them to spend like £3 more. Okay. The difference to your income. So we're going from 200 in income. The difference in your income goes up to £507. That's with 3 new clients and you owning the process by creating a product suite that answers their problems. So these are conservative figures. This isn't including high-end coaching packages. This isn't including, expensive products. This is really Bobby basic figures here because of my maths. We go up to 507. So the average sale increase. So the client now goes from being worth £20. So the value of that one customer to 39. So do you think you would show up more on social media, more in marketing your business if the value of your client could almost double? And every client that you can convert. And that's what we're going to talk you through tonight. So this you have to spend time on. If you're not spending time on this, what you're basically doing is putting all of your energy in to that £20 client who is fucking amazing, but they will go elsewhere because new problems do come up. So I want you to consider the lifetime value of a customer. Like, I don't know if anyone saw during lockdown, the HelloFresh adverts that were absolutely everywhere. It was like, get your 50% off your first box. Buy $35 plus 35% off your next 3 boxes. What did they want? They wanted you to get to box 4 and be fully ingrained in HelloFresh. They wanted you to get box 4, totally love what they were offering. So they were prepared to make a loss on those first 4 boxes, but because the time you got to box 4, the lifetime value of the people that stuck at it, they would allow for wastage would be greater. So we as small business owners have to stop focusing on that quick sale and focus on creating customers for life. And the next 2 things that I'm going to talk through is how to validate what your customers really want, to stop the guessing and to thinking, and then to actually create a product suite, which means you have got more things to sell your customer and how to take them on a journey. So there's a 3-step process to how you will retain your customers. Now, all this builds into the predictability of the income and creating our formula. First is we create a customer aspiration chart. And then that works side by side. They're like eyebrows, they're sisters, they're not twins, right? It's like you create a customer aspiration chart and you pair that off with a product suite that matches your customer's aspirations. I'll talk you through that. And then you consistently focus on 2 things: customer acquisition, bringing in those 3 new customers, bringing in less than we think the world has told us that we need, and we guide as many through. So if you think I need 3 new customers to come through, I'll get like 10 customers to buy, and then I can confidently take 3 customers through. We start to use maths then and it becomes our friend. So to create a customer aspiration chart, I want you to get out your pens. It's basically a mind dump, getting everything out of your brain that creates like a visual representation of what your customers need in relation to the problem that you solve. And I'm going to give you some really cool examples on this. So map out all of the problems that your client experiences in relation to what you do. Get everything out of your head and become focused on the problem that you solve and not what you sell right now. So I'm going to give an example, just the easiest example I can think of while we're doing this. I'm sitting here looking at my Mac and my iPhone and my iPad that's upstairs. And it's like, if Mac only focused on what they sold, which was computers, they would only ever bring out more computers. But they focused on the problem that they solved, is that we wanted this branded electronics. We wanted, something that looks good, and they have like the iPhone, they have the Mac, they have the iPad, they have the headphones. So they've created a product suite to answer all of our questions. So if anybody's got any questions about that, just come off mute, but just start jotting down what your customer needs from you if you were to solve all of their problems. while everyone's writing, I'm going to talk you through just some examples that I've taken. So for example, if somebody wanted to improve their health and their fitness and they went to a personal trainer, well, the first problem that they could solve would be that there's an online challenge to feel fitter in 5 days, right? And then as me as a consumer who joins this challenge, the next problem that develops for me is that now that I've got more energy, I've got a bit more confidence and I want to exercise. So I could join some exercise classes. Then I start to lose weight and I want to get more toned and I wanted to be more specific for my body. And then there's one-to-one training, you know, and then I might realize that actually, hang on a second, I'm getting toned, I'm losing weight, but I'm still beating myself up over my body. Maybe I need to see them for life coaching. So it's about you acknowledging as a business that you cannot solve all of the problems at once. So write out all of the aspirations that your consumer might have. There's an example for a makeup shop. You know, somebody might pop in, they're going out at night, so they get makeup application, they buy some makeup, they enjoy putting it on, and then the next problem that they have is they want regular makeup that's on trend, you know, that suits them, so they sign up for a subscription box. Actually, I feel heavy, doesn't it? Some tips for writing out your customer aspirations is like, be high level, focus on the problem that you solve. It's not like I provide one-to-one coaching services. It's like I help people change their lives. And then you can focus on, you know, what are the problems that arise or what do people aspire when they look to change their lives? And acknowledging that we're not going to try and solve all of these problems immediately. I'm going to move on because we are going to move into breakout room shortly. I just wanted to tell you, like, the biggest problem that small businesses have in relation to releasing products, to launching things, to selling more, and that's confidence that they're actually selling what the consumer wants. That's confidence that the customer actually wants what you're putting out there. And that's when we shy back. That's when we kind of tiptoe into selling. With your customer aspiration chart, once you've jotted down all of the things that they want, go and have a coffee with one of your ideal customers. Go and speak to one of your ideal customers and validate that they've identified that these things might be next on their radar. Market research and validation is the most omitted things from small business owners, whereas pretty much everything that we do should be market research. And I would challenge you to speak to a potential customer maybe once a month, if at all possible. But the customer aspirations is part of that validation. It's you writing out what they want. Now, the next step is building your product suite. So the aspirations is what your customer wants, what they've identified as a problem or the next problem that crops up. And then your product suite is how you create packages or products to answer those problems, you know, and create them at different price points. Now, again, it's a collection of connecting products or services that combine together to solve your problem. So your entire product suite together offers a complete solution to your client, but we know that they're not going to come in the door and say, solve all of my problems. You know, they're going to come in with the entry level problem 9 times out of 10. So now that you know what your client wants in relation to what you offer, you can create packages and use your email newsletter, use your launching to guide them along that journey. Now, these packages will have different price points and they're going to include a low and a mid and a high level offer. Okay, so it's not a case that people are always going to come in for the cheapest thing and then stay. Some people come in at your high level. But I'm going to give you some examples now that will hopefully bring this to life for you. you can bring in some fun and add in those elements the customers don't know, and you can do this gradually. Your role as a business owner is to create products and packages for your customer, right? So you, from the aspiration chart, but do it in your way and do it with your sense of purpose. The rules of creating products is that they're in demand. You have validated that your customer wants them. They're profitable for you to deliver over time. Look at, you know, with the exception of an intro offer, something that you're famous for, look that over time, this is going to generate you income, that they're fun for you to deliver, and that all products are going to tie together to offer a solution. I'm going to move on to the examples because this is the fun bit. But before I do that, I want to talk about the product. The problem with offering just one product or just one solution is that your clients have to look elsewhere for solutions to their problems when they already know, like, and trust you. I worked with solicitors for years, and they would always say the same thing. Clients are going to other people when they want to sell a property, when they want a will, when they want all of these things done. And they were doing it because they didn't know about your products, because you hadn't told them, because you just had this expectation. Your income and room to grow is limited. We'll go back to the example of the 20 customers and a tenner. And you're constantly focused on bringing in new customers instead of taking them on a journey and adding the value. And that's less work for you. That's more predictability, and that's less stress. So my first example on a product suite that I love, guys, I cannot do an example anymore without having snag tights in it. I just want to warn everyone because they are fucking amazing. But Snag started off, their purpose was to fix tights and to offer tights that fit, right? They realized there was a problem with tights. Like 90% of women complained that tights weren't fitting properly, and there was a fundamental flaw in how they were made. So Snag first came out with Snag tights, $6.99 for a pair of tights that fit us, right? Absolutely amazing. But then when they started to explore their customer aspirations, what they realized, what their customers had other problems. Now that they'd found tights that fit, they wanted leggings that fit, and they wanted skirts and swimsuits that fit. So here we have now Snag have made leggings, $25.99 for leggings. That's quite a jump. Obviously, I don't know the profit on these, and skirts and swimsuits for circa $35.99. But if you're looking as a collection, if I come in as a customer for Snag and I used to, let's say, buy 3 pairs of tights for 20 quid, now I'm throwing in leggings, and now I'm throwing in a skirt and a swimsuit, the value of me as a customer is much higher. I know we've got life coaches on the call tonight. I really wanted to include this example. This is a girl from my hometown. She's absolutely smashing it. So as a life coach, she's the navigation coach. Her intention and her purpose is to help people find their way in life, right? So she started off delivering that through one-to-one sessions and through group programs. And it was focusing on helping people to have a journey of self-discovery. So when she was creating her product suite, she looked at different ways that she does that. Every year she sells out. I think this is her 3rd or 4th year doing the Life Compass Planner. Sells out €40. We're in euros. Sells out, and then she upsells the diffuser bundles and the one-to-one coaching sessions as well. So she's bringing people in, volume, getting them to use the planner. Her social media is all around using that planner, and then she's upselling the other products through her email list. I can't help this, me being me. If I wanted to help her, I would be moving from one-to-one sessions to a block program, a product of a block session of coaching or a group coaching program, but I'm sure that's in the plan for her. The next example of somebody creating a product suite is, I'm obsessed with the Gruffalo. It's like the only book I can read where I don't want to gouge my eyes out, because I'm like, this is actually interesting. But if you're focused on what you create, everyone would think, right, Julia Donaldson, she just needs to create another book, right? She just needs to create another book. She's got loads of books. When you focus on the problem that you solve and how you can provide a solution to that problem, Julia Donaldson has brought in a world of parents enjoying books. Parents enjoyed reading books to their children. And part of her product suite now is through BBC Maestro, is she helps write children's books. So there's a course for £80. Now, if we think of a jump, a product-based business that's 2 for £7 in Tesco, so God knows what she walks away with, versus Julia Donaldson as a teaching you how to write kids' books, partnering up with BBC Maestro and charging £80 a pop, and they're doing all the marketing, is an amazing way. So I wonder what next for Julie. I was trying to stalk her website to see what she was coming up with. OK Magazine is another example of having created a product suite based on the problem that they solve. Traditionally with a magazine, it's print is dying out, email's dying out, people aren't going to go there. So the magazine is circa like £4 or £5. They have now a beauty subscription box at £15 per month. They have an intro offer on the first month, but they also have Christmas boxes for £55. So you can see they're creating things to try and get people to spend more and more money, and obviously having a huge database for the magazine and a way to sell those beauty subscription boxes is key for them as well. So guys, we're going to take a few minutes and we are going to break into a breakout room as well, because we want to brainstorm some sessions. When it comes to you creating your product suite, you don't have to create everything at once. I'm not asking you to create everything, but I am asking you to commit to having different packages that we can sell to get those predictable sales. Come back to your aspiration chart, look at your business from your customer's perspective and how you can offer a complete solution to their problem, and divide these solutions into the products in your suite, so your packages. And then in the next part of the presentation, we're going to look at launching these. So your product suite should ideally have a low price offer. So for example, from mine, coming on here tonight is one of my low price offers. Medium price offers is joining the Epic Academy, and then a higher price offer is one-to-one coaching, you know, and we can underpin this. Some people underpin this with a continuity offer, which is a membership. I wouldn't recommend a membership until you've got really good clients coming in for one-to-one, just so that you can continue with that volume. So here's what it would look like is, you know, they come in at your low priced product, maybe a freebie or an intro, and then we use email marketing to retarget, to get them to move on to, okay, we've completed this, here's our next offer, and here's our next offer as well. Okay, I'm just going to escape from that to see if there are any questions cropping up. I'm quite aware that that was a lot. Are there questions coming up about creating your product suite for your business? Please share them with me right now. Oh, Jen, come on.
Hi, so I've got my subscription model there, and I've got like the two different levels of it, like the low level, which is online, so that's like far reaching, low value, so that's quite a lot of people, so I'm looking at more people but less money, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then my mid one would be upselling to the in-person subscription, so they're coming to a class in there, but I can't think where can I take them after that? What's the high level? Like, I don't know how to grow further than that, because I've already got the continuity of the membership underneath, so that's kind of where I'm sort of struggling.
Yeah. No, and that's a really good question, because that comes up, and I think to answer that, we're going to combine the validation of your customer aspiration chart with us exploring ideas. So if you've got customers there, it's about surveying them, chatting to them, guys, what's next for you? You know, would you be interested in one-to-one training for a special occasion? Would you be interested in like a group coaching for less time, but I would teach you how to do X, Y, and Z and focus more on your technique? If validation is the most important thing alongside this, is making sure that it's that aspiration, it's what your customers want alongside what's going to get the customers to the next level.
So like a high value retreat where they're getting like much more for their, they're getting a huge experience, that costs a lot, to organize. That would be the next thing.
And chatting to them, how does that sound for you? You know, one-to-one retreats, exploring other dancers. So I would be looking at pulling in examples from the fitness industry, hip hop dancing in America. Like, could we have like a retreat where you'll teach them the latest TikTok trend, but in Irish dancing? Start to think about what's the next problem once they get to that they want. Maybe the dancing has fueled a love of fitness that we can bring in, different things like that. But guys, it's about combining the validation. I know this is what people want. It's part of their aspiration with actually, this is a product suite that I can create. Thank you, Jen. Who's next for a question?
maybe this is just the first time that because this is the first time I've done this, but I'm struggling to be creative. So I'm a massage therapist, and I deliver like sessions, and then I also deliver infant massage classes. Both of them I would say would be a mid-range offer. Would a high range offer be like something like a block booking? I'm trying to think. I can't seem to think just outside of like a massage therapy session.
Yeah. I think a block booking sounds amazing, and I would recommend for a norm for your industry, because it's so much easier for you to sell a block booking than it is to sell the one frequent times.
Yeah.
But it might be
Yeah.
a block booking plus like it could be stuff like a pack, like an entire pack for everything that you need for infant massage, including gloves, like hand sanitizer, the massage oil, the packs. Like if they're not included, they could be included in something. Definitely focusing up to getting people back in for 3, 4, 6 massages so that you can sell that bit easier for you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Orla.
But start to look as different things come up. Okay, the kids are loving the infant massage. Baby classes, by the way, it's fucking key. It's absolutely key, because it's such a short window that you then, okay, infant massage, what's the next class I can create there and prolong that journey?
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
And so my little trick when I'm getting examples for people is to not to look at anyone in your city, because that's when overwhelm can come in, and that's when it can become a direct comparison. So I would think, who's got the #1 city in the world for baby infant massage, and I would go there for the best examples, the highest rated ones, and get ideas from there, and then look at like Sing and Sign in London or Japan or somewhere, and get ideas from there.
I'm already thinking about like story massage for like toddlers, things like that. So and people, someone else in my town's doing baby massage for like really cheap. So I'm just trying desperately not to look at her, because I couldn't do it as cheaply as her. I don't know how she's making any money.
Yeah, and there's also classes that run baby massage for free, but lots of us paid to go to baby massage classes. So it's about the value in things. Like people don't value cheap or free unless they need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie, did I see you raise your hand there just before Donna came on?
Yeah, I've got kind of 2 strands to my business, and so I'm sort of trying to figure out who to target this year. I last year did too much and it was too wide. It was too wide, and spread myself too thin. So I'm a flower farmer, but I have a retail strand, and I just sort of did best from the field, and I kind of kept it quite general. But I think I need the small posy, the medium posy, but like the whopper, and I never did the whopper because I didn't feel comfortable with that. But I didn't give anybody that option, and I also think I undersold myself a little bit. But I also have quite a lot of wholesale customers, and I need to target them as well. So I have sort of different income streams, and I'm trying to make it easy for them to know what I have, but it's really stressful counting. It doesn't sound stressful, but counting how many buds and how many flowers I'm going to have that week is actually really hard, and being realistic and not letting people down. So so there's quite a lot going on, but the same thing is getting over what is available. So it's availability, and it's very seasonal, and it's very time sensitive. That week I need to sell this, and it needs to be sold, it needs to be picked, and it needs to be gone. So it's very, so it's quite, but all of that. So I'm just, I'm trying to figure out the 2 streams, the retail and the wholesale. So I'm struggling a bit with that. So I'm just, I'll bear with me, but help is yes.
No, of course, I think get all of the ideas out, but definitely go for that whopper, like, the whopper. Even if we feel uncomfortable with charging it, get comfortable with the value of it to the consumer. If you're confident in that value that's there, just practice charging it, because you'll overcome that really, really quickly.
But also, what's the name of it? Is it like the supreme, like the big whack? I'm always just like, just so people understand what it is, because photographing something that's massive in the photograph, it's also relaying to people what that is. It's also getting across what that package involves. You know what I mean? So it's not, it's so I'm sort of, that bit's hard. I find hard as well. So
Yeah, no, true. And I think the naming is a key one as well. And we'll come on to that because we want to make that offer sound. But I think adjectives are going to be your friend as you name this and becoming really specific on them as well. And also exclusivity. Like I would consider you investigating the oversubscribed model for selling products, and the fact that you have something that's seasonal and that's in demand. I would get volumes of people onto a waiting list as quickly as you possibly can. And I would sell that waiting list. Guys, as you know, we only have a specific number, and when they're gone, join the wait list.
Okay.
And it's kind of like using that exclusivity for, well, actually, hang on a second, you were top of the wait list, therefore you get this, right? And then you can always open it up then to your genuine followers. So you could, I don't know if you use email marketing at all.
Not really. I'm more of a one-to-one customer person, you know, and so I need to change that. So I like phoning somebody, having a chat, yeah. But it takes too much time. It just takes too much time. But I've got a base of people, so that's good. It's just sort of going bigger.
Yeah, no, perfect. So that base, we could use something like WhatsApp, or you could use Telegram, but I would recommend getting their email list, and then we could create MailerLite for free. You could create a landing page, and it's like, okay, the wait list is open for Valentine's Day, and you say, guys, we've got limited, we'll know on the 1st exactly what our stock is, and then we'll contact you. Just something like that, and then that's free, and you could do it for volume, but you can also personalize it so they don't feel, you could get their name on there so that they feel like it's a personalized message from you. You don't have to have banners around. It can look like a direct email from you.
Thanks.
Cool, thank you. Anyway, we've got time for one more question before we move into the breakout rooms. Oh, hi, Liz.
Hi there. So this is something that I've always struggled with, this product suite building. And like Debbie, I've just found that I've spread myself far too thin, and I'm basically offering everything on some. So I'm a baker based in East Lothian, and I bake, for those of you who don't know, I bake cakes using a range of like seasonal, local, foraged ingredients. So it's all like natural stuff. So I started out doing the bespoke bakes, and then actually during lockdown, I created the sweet treat selection boxes, which were just really popular. And then I had about a 6-month break, and I was adamant I was never going to bake again, but I missed it too much, so I've come back. So I've started the sweet treat selection boxes, but I've changed quite a bit in my business. So I don't offer delivery anymore. It's just solely collection. And the first month that I came back, it was brilliant. I sold out. I sold my limited number of boxes. And then the second month, I sold about 2 out of the 12. And people have been asking me about this, but I've kind of looked at it and thought, well, actually, I've come to terms with that was a lockdown product. And then I've done like a pop-up shop. I was doing that on a weekly basis. And then I was going to do some events, and then keep the sweet treat selection boxes as well as the bespoke. So I had 4 things. It's just too much. Just can't do everything. So I was just spreading myself far too thinly. So what I've decided to do is basically haul back and stick with the bespoke stuff, because it's not just like cakes. I can do selection boxes there as well as a bespoke order. So my mind's a bit of a mess, and because my mind's a bit of a mess, I think the customers they'll be like, what the hell is she, what does she offer now? So thinking about it in terms of a product suite, I'm struggling a bit with that. And I don't know what I'm saying now, but my mind's a bit of a mess. So I think what I need to do is just have a look at what I can offer in the bespoke section, and go from there. Because there are kind of lower end, mid-range, and kind of like higher end, I suppose, like boxes of cupcakes or boxes of brownies, the kind of lower end to the mid-sized cakes and larger size cakes, wedding style things. Yeah, so I've always struggled with it. So
yeah, and I think, and you're not alone in this, by the way, certainly not, but I think that will cause confusion to consumers in terms of they need to know what's available and to sign up. And also we have to balance out the consistency builds trust. So I think come back and go, what does bespoke, come back to your purpose. What's the purpose of your business in 2022? What do I want? And then add one thing at a time. Just say, okay, last time I added too many and it became too much. Add one. How long do you need to test and measure that one before you'll add another one? And how long do you need it? Because we're not going to build up the product suite overnight. It's about knowing that we need. So if we have one product, commit to bringing in one more right now, you know, or perfect in the same. And we'll talk about what you need to focus on. But I think you're right. You became really, really famous for those sweet treat boxes and everyone was loving them, that we now have to kind of reposition you as bespoke. And bespoke needs to be high end, by the way. Bespoke, we can scrap the low entry. Low entry is going to be relative for you. Bespoke has to be high end. So I would only be looking at high end product suites and getting ideas for them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but your content, see, after you having that time off, your content's on point, you're speaking directly to the customers, like it's hard not to fall in love with what you offer. So it's just continuing to do that, but not to bring in stuff that doesn't feel right for you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Thanks, Laura.
Guys, I would recommend that you map all of this out. Go and do whatever you need to do to process it. That could take a day, a week, a month, and then come back to it and then commit to taking that first next step, you know, because this is about us then committing, because what's not scalable is not knowing what's the next step. That's not scalable. What is scalable is saying, this is my intro product, you know, this is that first step. Let's sell that. Let's, you know, build up an amazing bank of people that love that and then sell the next step, right? So you might want to become in idea generation mode and farm out for people as well. But my only kind of almost beg of people is that, like, when you're looking at ideas, no one in the region, no one nearby, and bring in somebody from your industry, a similar industry, and a completely different industry, so we can get that perspective. Like if Julia Donaldson had looked at like what every other author was doing, you know, would she really be selling how to write kids books? Like who hasn't read a kids book and thought, right, I'd love to write one? Like, probably far too many swear words in mine for human consumption. But, you know, let's look at Snag Tights, the best fucking example for anything. You know, if they'd have looked at what other tights were doing, it was bras, it was knickers, they never would have brought in what the consumer wanted, which was the leggings, because like everybody's in leggings for life now, you know. So play around with this and have fun. Guys, we're going to go into a breakout room for about 20 minutes. I really want you to have fun with this and just work with the other people in your room for ideas, you know, because we have got like amazing business women in the room. But I want you to like ask them as a potential customer, like, what would you like to see? Like, if I solve this problem, what's the next problem? The validation of the aspiration chart is key. You know, you're going to commit to talking to your clients and combine that with what I sell right now. Where does that fit in a product suite? Is it an entry product? Do I not have a product? In which case I need to create product one. And then what's next for you? Does that make sense for everyone? If it doesn't, just send me a DM. I am going to automatically do the breakout rooms. It might do the same ones as before. Yeah, it's doing the same ones as before, and that's pretty good. So I will open those for us just now.
Hello.
Hello, can you get in or are you staying? Oh, cool. I don't know why I'm whispering that, but I am going to stop recording. Hello. There's Papa on him again.
Hiya.
Hi. If I pop you on mute, it's only for the background noise. Sorry. So rude. Perfect. Everyone's back. Who would like to share how they got on with that activity and how they're feeling about creating a product suite and any questions that are cropping up?
I would like to share.
Yes, Money.
Well, I sell soft furnishing. So, for example, curtains. I've got ready-made curtains, which are, you know, lower priced and made to order curtains that we can do any width, any drop, and we've got like thousands of fabrics to choose from. So, for example, very high-end fabrics, they are very thick. Velvet, and the most popular of that is black and gold, like with metallic gold design. So I had quite a few orders for those, and they're quite expensive. And then I introduced making, you know, cushion covers using the same fabrics. We can also make tie backs for the curtains, table runners, and tablecloths. So I often tell the customers, if they inquire about made-to-measure curtains, that we can also do those items for them. But I was also thinking about using my supplier, because they've got like thousands of items to sell. And I could do like maybe not mood board, but like color boards. Sometimes people, you know, rearrange everything in living room, for example, and they get black and gold curtains, they get cushions and so on, but they need also like small accessories, I don't know, vase or a candle holder, so I can put all that together. And instead of buying it and selling, you know, I don't want to keep stock in the house because I don't have anywhere else to keep it yet, but I could tell them, you know, it needs to be pre-ordered. Anyway, they need to wait for the curtains to be made, so that will be ideal, I guess. That's the idea I came up with tonight. So thank you.
Yay. Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds incredible. And even
that
the
will be and that will be another idea for, you know, to send an emails to customers saying, you know, that's a new thing, and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's the what's next, like it's the what's next, and you can segment your list on Mailer Lite, so we can try and say like people who purchased in certain months, and then think, okay, well, how long after that would they realistically think about updating the others? Like, I don't know if anyone's ever used like confused.com for their insurance, but they do not let you get away without using confused.com for everything else. Like, they keep it. The emails are amazing and they keep on your radar. So that's what you're looking to do, is paint a picture of your ideal client, what's next for them, and have those recommendations in there. How does that sound?
Yeah, good. But I struggled kind of, I don't know, to like pricing it, you know, lower price, higher price, and the highest price. So maybe it's about the products. For example, cushion covers, that's, you know, they're not that expensive. And I've got bedspreads, they're more expensive, but the most expensive items are the made to measure curtains in my shop. So maybe that's the way.
And maybe having like a set, like the bedroom set, get your curtains, get your tie backs, get your duvets, like little things like that to encourage people. Amazing. Thank you. We've got time for one more before we move into the launch section. Who would like to share? I'll take that as a polite note, Orla. You'll get loads of chance if anybody wants to afterwards. We will move quickly on until having to launch. Sorry, before I do this, right? Who here feels with their social media following, with people that buy from them, you don't have to have an email list or a big social media following, like I know some of us have got shops, like people coming in, who feels that they've got people in there that would buy from them right now if they could launch something effectively? Yeah, cool. If you're not, if you feel that they don't, we will come to that towards the end, so don't be put off by the content here. But what we're trying to do is get into the mindset of becoming more launch focused rather than sales focused. Launch focused is an invitation to buy. Sell-in is buy now, or I'm going to hide away forever and I'm not going to come up again. An example would be, who here, anyone else in the same position where their gas and electricity bill has skyrocketed recently with the closing down of the companies? Perfect. I am primed to change my suppliers. I am not primed to be sold to. A guy knocked on my door during the week and he was like, hi. And he was like, so we've been getting reports of like really high gas and electricity. And I was like, I know you've got a tough gig, but no, it's bedtime, you know? And that's what it's like to be sold to. And that's what lots of small businesses do, is we go, I'm going to sell to you right now. It will be 1 or 2 posts. It might be an email. I'm going to sell to you, but there's going to be no strategy behind it. Whereas if you are paying for somebody to come and walk around our estate and knock on doors, run social media adverts in the same area, you know, go for free to the Facebook groups in the same area. Give me something when you come on my door and I don't have time to speak to you. Like, make it a launch and not a sell. Now, you're going to have to feel your way into launching if it's new for you and if it's the first thing that you're doing. I've been testing and measuring this since like March time, and I know that it works. But if you're feeling your way into launching, it's literally just about committing, about creating a strategy to make it appealing to people, for people to buy from you, versus I'm going to stick my head up and I'm going to try and sell. It's maybe not going to work out the way that I wanted, so I'm going to back down, which is what lots of businesses do. And we have this kind of popping up thing. It's about becoming a little bit more strategic. So just get excited about this, because you can research it. You can find what launches have encouraged you to buy, and you can map out your own launch strategy. Like, everyone's learning what's working in the industries right now. And I'm going to give you some examples of best practice, and then we can find out what works best for you and your industry. So this is about launching what you have, launching what you offer to your current audience. We'll talk about bringing in new people into your audience as well, but this is on the basis that we have people interested. Now, we've all got followings on social media. So, or we have a database of phone numbers, or we have a database of email addresses. So, you know, people will buy from us. So the question I've asked, do you feel customers following you right now would buy from you? And the answer for most of us was yes, and some of us was a so-so. And what's the greatest asset that can help you build your launch? And that's having a strategy. That's knowing what is working and testing and measuring that so that it works best for your industry. Like, this doesn't work for somebody straight off the bat. It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to do a launch, it's going to be amazingly successful. Marketing is not about having a perfect message and the world falling in love with you. Marketing is about having a consumer-centric message and testing and measuring what is working on a consistent basis to build up your system and to continue to test and measure that. So like all of the big businesses, they test and measure everything. When we used to build marketing campaigns with like £1.5 million budgets, we would test and measure the tiny little things to see what worked, from the messaging to where we shared it, to our call to action, to our follow through. So if this doesn't work for you first time, absolutely fucking perfect. It is the same for every business in every industry. Just commit to becoming launch focused. Launching is what allows you to create that predictable sales. You know, having an increased value of the consumer, like we've already taken them from £20 to £39, the value of each customer. Launching is when we get in front of them and we let them know what new things are. Now, you launch to your existing customers and you launch to new customers as well, but we create different messages for that. Launching allows you to identify what's not working in your marketing, and I'll talk you through the step-by-step process to do that. Launching allows you to build your audience in between launches, you know, and it'll allow so that they're ready to buy from you. You know, there's going to be seasons in your business. There's going to be seasons for you to grow your audience and to get in front of new people, and there's going to be seasons for you to present and launch to them and present them with an opportunity to buy. What lots of businesses are doing is they're going, oh hey, like the guy that knocked on my door, hey, how are you? I'm in the market, but you're selling to me. It's like, hey, how are you? Here's what I've got. Sorry, I'm just going to let Medea back in. There we go. So some of the biggest mistakes that businesses make. I'm just going to pop you on mute there, Medea, because I'm getting the background noise. So I'll just be 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. There we go. The two biggest mistakes is that they only show up when they want to sell something. And they think that if people don't want it right there and right then, that they don't want it at all. And that's really, really common. And that's common because we've got shitloads of stuff going on and it happens. And the other mistake that people make is that we're constantly posting without any real intention behind it. Like, what's the intention of us showing up on social media? Where does that fit into our business? You know, is it for vanity metrics to grow our following, or is it to get those 3 extra customers and to guide them through our sales process? The launch process is really built on these things: selling the right thing to the right person. It's what we've spoken about already. You've got your customer aspiration chart. You know what the problems are coming up, and you've validated it. Speak to your customers, take time to chat with them, and then pair that off with your product suite. Your product suite has to work hand in hand with what the customers want from you. And then we're going to gather all of your launch collateral. So we're going to spend some time. This is where the energy comes in. And that's all of the content and all of the things. And I'm going to walk you through it that you're going to need for your launch. So that's everything from your social media graphics to your reels, to your email graphics, to in-store posters. We want to have all roads leading to this launch. And we're not just going to jump in there and start selling, especially if we've not been active. Pre-launch, we're going to build awareness and becoming the go-to person. And then we're going to launch. We're going to build a buzz around what you're selling. Now, guys, when you sell things, you've got 2 options. You can sell something as a nice to have, or you can sell something as a must have, right? And I think lots of us maybe think that if we sell something as a must have, that we're going to go down the route of being like brash or, you know, like too forward or kind of railroading our clients in. But you have to see your product or your service as a must have. Business coaching is a must have. Life coaching is a must have. You know, finding the right opticians is a must have. And it doesn't mean it's a must have for everyone. It means it's a must have for the right client. And the way that you do that is kind of like your language, you know, the workshop that you need that you thought that you didn't, you know, the secret to building your business, you know, like the perfect product you need for your home, the reason you need these curtains, you know, commit to not flip-flopping when it comes to selling what you have. Like, we're not saying you're going to knock on someone's door and say you need to buy this, but when you are promoting what you offer, what you have is a must have. You have done the research, you know that it's going to make someone's life better. Before you start with any launch, we just want to have some targets. You're going to manage expectations. Launching is like, it's like that phase, you know, when you have a baby and you get a baby into a routine and then something happens and then the routine goes out the window and they say, well, it's like ages and stages. Managing expectations for your launch is like ages and stages. You know, as you learn to become more confident, as you learn to become more consistent, as you learn to build your market beforehand, your expectations are going to change and you're going to become a lot more comfortable. And that being said, we should set income targets. You know, how much do you want to earn? I set an income target for tonight and I met that and that's perfect. So then I was like, oh, well, you know, I can take it easy now. Probably not the right thing to do, but it's like, set your income targets and make them intrinsic. It's like, you know, how many people do you want to help with this thing? Like, what's that purpose? And give it everything. Your launch should be the main focus for your business for the launch period. And we'll discuss how long launch periods can be. Now, the reason you want to give it everything is because there's a launch like calendar, there's a launch like graph, and I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to share with you the graph that Eventbrite sent to me about how events sell on there. So you show that it's actually really, really quite common. When it comes to being launch ready, before you launch something, you have to show up consistently in your business. We don't want people to feel sold to. We don't want them to think, oh God, I've not heard from them in a month and now they're selling something. So show up consistently in your business for at least a month before launching, but you have to decide what consistent looks like for you. It could be a post every day. It could be an email, you know, every week. What does consistent look like for you? Set your targets. Make it your main focus for 21 to 30 days and update all bios to reflect your launch. So if your launch says, like I'll use Jen as an example, like an amazing Irish dance teacher, you could say like the best Irish dance classes in Edinburgh starting below. you know, update all of your bios so that they point to everything, and test and measure. So when it comes to the right thing for the right person, what we're doing is we're taking our product and we're making it sound really nice, and we're making it an irresistible offer. And the reason that we're doing that is because we have to stand out from the competition. You don't need to create a new offer every time you launch something, but you can take your packages. So for example, what you're here tonight, this is one of my masterclasses, which is at the entry level of my product suite, but I don't call everything a masterclass. You give it an individual name and make it specific to itself. So I'm just going to give you some examples. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, but just play around with how you can take something that seems quite samey and make it sound different. So my product, in my product suite, a sales masterclass. So a 90-minute interactive sales masterclass with a sales audit. It sounds like an offer that I'd like to launch and somebody would like to buy. Product, handmade soap, jewelry, earrings, cups, paintwork, like anything. Organic handmade seasonal soap and limited edition candle. You know, it's taken that and it's making it something that stands out. Bouquet of flowers, hand-tied seasonal bouquet of flowers with free gift card and free delivery. Product, accounts submission, offer, financial audit and report with submission of end of year accounts. Product, baby sleep training session, your offer, again, this is where adjectives are your friend, gentle parenting inspired and child-led sleep training with follow-up calls. So all we're trying to do is make it specific enough that it comes across as an offer and it speaks to your client, you know, so we'd look at that aspiration. So after we've made it, you know, we've made your offer, you need to gather together everything that you're going to need for your launches. So jot down right now all of the ways that you market to your client. You know, do you have an email list? Do you have social media? Do you have brand ambassadors and partners? Do you have a website that you need a sales page for? You know, are you going to do some adverts for it? And I have this in the workbooks you can do, but you could just plan ahead in advance so that if you're having a shit day, if things aren't quite working out, you can schedule these things. And what we put out in a social media post, we'd also put out in your email. We'd also put out in your live videos. I do have a calendar for you in the worksheet as well. And this is an example of what your launch journey would look like. You can tell I tried to do a graph there really badly. In the initial period, that's when you're going to get most of your sales. That's why people introduce an early bird offer, part of the initial promotion, etc. You can always keep bonuses under your hat if sales start to die down. But the reason things sell more in the initial period is we're more motivated. It's a newer product or service. People are a lot happier. During the mid-launch, things will die down. It's perfectly normal. Your challenge is not to give up then. And then towards the end, it will be increase of sales. Now, the reason there's going to be an increase there is because there's a natural and an ethical deadline that you have promoted consistently. Okay, and you're going to feel your way into what promotion works better for you. Is it emails? Is it lives? Is it reels? Is it signs in store? Is it handouts that you give to people? Like you'll feel, for me, it's lives. Like I've not done as many lives this week, and I know that's impacted me. But you'll feel your way into what works best for you. But this is an example of when I emailed in to Eventbrite and I was like, how does this normally look? And they're like, early bird is when they sell most of. Right, so this is anyone selling events, masterclasses. This is just an example. Early bird, halfway there, sure fuck all. And then last call, things come up. And it's like on average, 55% of tickets are sold in the early bird. So that's when you want that consistency. But look at that, 26%. So a quarter of all sales are in the last 2 days, right? So how many people shy away from a day or two beforehand because they're like, I might not get as many sales, it's too late. No, that's when you get people signing up. And these sales are typically worth more money to you because you're not doing an early bird offer. So, you know, actually 26% of your tickets sold then is probably worth more than the 55% sold initially because they're paying more if you've given an early bird. So you've got to just acknowledge that there's a natural swing to this and you'll start to identify yours. And that begs the question, how long should a launch last for? it really depends on your business, your followers, and what you're delivering. You might need 5 days, like if it's a masterclass, an event, if it's like our baby massage or infant massage classes, you know, you might need longer in the build up to like Christmas and New Year. You're going to feel your way into it. And then you have to ask yourself is, what's not going to make me panic? Like, well, I'm going to give myself 2 weeks because that gives me enough time. So don't be afraid to say what gives you enough time. That's probably more important than anything. And then you'll feel your way into it. And you might say, well, actually, do you know what? I gave myself 2 weeks last time. I maybe need 3 weeks the next time. But I would say, you know, anything longer than a month is probably too long because we need that sense of urgency. One of the fundamentals of human behavior is that people will only take action when there's a reason for them to do so. So they need that ethical scarcity that of like we spoke about, like the waiting list for flowers. People need ethical scarcity. We're not going to fake it, but it's just how we operate. You know, Hannah, as an accountant, I'm sure will testify to the volume of people that do their taxes in January. Like, people need a deadline. So then we're going to break down your launch into 2 periods, your pre-launch and your actual launch. So we want to find out what is your position in content when it comes to pre-launching. It's kind of that content that puts you into context, that something's happening, you're an expert in this, you know? So if you're doing a masterclass on a particular thing, if you're launching a particular product, you know, find out how you can create position and content. And the position and content looks like this, really. It sets the tone. It can squash any objections and it can set the value. So, you know, common mistakes. What are the common mistakes when it comes to people choosing curtains and decorating their home? You know, what are the common mistakes when it comes to people, you know, taking a step to change their lives? You know, what are the common mistakes? Make a list out of all of the common mistakes, and you might decide to turn that into 1 post or 2 posts or 3 posts, or an email or a newsletter or a live or a reel, whatever is going to work for your business. But what I would advise is that you speak person to person. You know, that it's not really formal. It's your tone as if you were just picking out one of your ideal clients to chat to. Then we could do some case studies. You can get some testimonials from happy clients who've bought from, I suppose that's the first typo I've noticed, from you in their words. So when it comes to case studies, video case studies, if you're going to tell a story, we could just go Mary's story and tell Mary's story like a real life story. Use real people, use the videos. If we don't have case studies, use endorsements. So you could get like a teacher or a nursery teacher to talk about, you know, your sleep training, you know, like you can use endorsements, or you can talk about situations as well. Overcoming objections, you really need to have a list of the objections. The objections, by the way, for most people is time or money or effort, right? So when people say, I don't have the time to do something, you know, I don't have the money to do something, I don't believe that my effort is going to pay off. Now, we know those objections are universal, they're for absolutely everything. So think about, what would you say to somebody that thinks they don't have the time to pop into your shop to look at your products, that doesn't have the time to, you know, take advantage of your service? What would you say to somebody that feels they're not going to get the results? And when it comes to getting the results, that objection, this is where I recommend that we take into account your client's lived experience and any trauma that your client has in the past. What most people do is they just kind of poke around at a problem and say it's fine, and it's just going to say, I understand, and this is why I've put these things in. Now, after you've done the position and content, now depending on your launch, that might be for, you know, 4 days, 5 days, it depends on what works best for you. And then we're going to do the launch. And the launch is, you're going to tell everyone exactly what is on offer, and you're going to tell them how to buy it from you. And the invitation is a must-have and not a nice-to-have, and feel your way into that one in terms of the language that works best for you. It is a fundamental rule of communication that people need to hear something 8 times to know what you're talking about. Now, when we think about how busy people's lives are, you're going to have to tell them about 200 to 250 times. you know. And that's not to say we need to do 200 posts, but that's just to say, don't do one post or one email or one live or one conversation and say, oh, but they didn't like it. I had 10 unsubscribes just promoting tonight's event. Now it's much better that I have 10 unsubscribes and sell 22 tickets than I have then I sell nothing and have those 10 people still on my list, you know, because not everyone's been able to make tonight. So think about unsubscribes are a good thing. And if you lose followers, that's absolutely fine. So here are some examples of your promotion content. Pitch the offer. What is exactly is on offer? You know, what is the product? What is the service? And I'm going to come to some questions in a minute we can do to pitch that. Answer any frequently asked questions. You go, we get asked, you know, Mary asked this before she signed up for this service. Don't shy away from the final push or the last call. Guys, here's the last call to purchase this. You know, the event is tonight. We run out, you know. This is everything that's taken place. Sorry, oh yeah, I do have a lunch planner. And if you think about, okay, where am I going to share this? This is about the repetition of a message. So I'm going to give some examples in the calendar in a minute. So when it comes to that post, this really special post, pitching the offer, here are some questions that you can ask yourself to create your pitch. Why do people need what you're offering? What problem does your offer solve? These are in the workbooks. Why do they need it right now? Guys, ethical urgency is the most important thing that you can bring into your business. You know, how long would people leave redecorating their home? How long would people leave signing up for a class? How long would people leave, you know, buying more eco-friendly products if they didn't get told why they need it right now? You know, what is the cost of not buying? And why are you the right person to offer this? You know, so you can play around. You can play around with a post, but I would say, you know, today I'm delighted to launch X. You know, I created this because we consistently saw Y, and we knew that if people left it for long enough, they would experience this. You know, you can feel your way in to a post that works really well for you, and then you can just tell that post in different ways. You can tell that post in a live, in a reel, in an email, in a conversation with people on the phone, for those of us who speak to our clients because we don't have the email set up. It can be in a WhatsApp message, but you have to tell them what's on offer. Guys, this is just an example of a launch planner. Let's say you had 2 weeks. You know, Monday, we might come up with the common mistakes people make when, and we could send an email, share it on our socials, then do a live, you know, might do an IGTV, we might do Q&As in our poll. Testimonials always work best when there's someone's story. So, you know, here's Fiona's story, and have a case study, testimonial, video, you know, whatever. Nowadays, actually, we could do collaborative reels. So you might do a collaborative reel with one of your clients. There's so many things. Is this right for you on Wednesday? Overcoming objections. If you don't want to say, you don't necessarily want to say to somebody, oh, by the way, a common objection I get, you could just say, oh, we often get asked, you know, or are you wondering, you know, do you also think this? And then on Friday, we could say something exciting is coming and start to make it really, really fun. Now, by the way, this is done on the basis that you don't do social media on a Saturday or Sunday. You can always just expand out. Week 2, early bird offer. This is your offer post, guys. Here's what's offer. Here's what's included. Answer the FAQs. Now, the good news about the early bird is you can hammer home the early bird, and then you can hammer home the end date. You know, you don't want to miss this post and final calls. Now, these are just examples. You'll have obviously all of the slides to take this, because I'll pop the slides in a PDF format for you as well. This is the Trello board that you're going to get. Again, when you log into Trello, go file and make a copy. We've got ideas and inspirations. Do not underestimate your ideas and inspirations. I have an email address, resources@orlab.com. If I see a Facebook advert that I like, if I see an email promotion that I like, if I see anything that I like, it gets forwarded to that email address. You know, it's not clogging up my own, and I can log in and get ideas and inspiration. You can play around with your product suite there. Planning stage, start to plan, set your goals, pull everything together, and we've popped audience building in there as well. Pre-launch and launch, we've divided it into if you're doing paid and free, and then post-launch. And this is probably the most underrated important thing, whereby you assess and you track and you measure everything. I'm just going to come back out before we move on to implementation, and I will get it done in enough time. How does that sound for everyone when they're looking at the launch? Is there any questions that are cropping up? We will have time for Q&A, but you'd like me to answer before we move on? Okay, we'll hang fire for the Q&A, and I will move in and cover the rest of everything. This is the last thing, by the way. This is about us identifying what you need to focus on in your business right now. I'm sure I'm not alone when I think business fucks with your brain. Like, it's so overwhelming. There's always something new to do. There's always something new to focus on. And what happens is we try to solve problems that maybe aren't in our business right now. And we try to focus on things that maybe we don't. And that's why so many businesses don't have a product suite. That's why so many businesses have no foundations in there in terms of branding, the background, taking clients on a journey. So what we need to do is we need to determine what exactly you need to focus on. And then we need to prioritize what needs to be done and then take action. And then we're going to ask you to schedule in your first launch. So the 3-step process in terms of what you need to do is we break our business down into these 3 key sections. The first is building awareness. It's getting in front of new people, growing your social media following, excuse me, increasing your engagement on social media, make sure that you're talking to your ideal client, knowing your ideal client inside out. Like, that is the building awareness stage of your business. The sales and conversion stage is creating a product suite, starting with that first product and building on as and when works for you, and getting customers to buy one of your packages consistently, right? And before you move on to paid promotion, if you've got a following on social media, you've got to use free promotion to get them to buy before paid promotion, so that you can test the language that's working. The third phase of your business is creating consistent sales over time. It's extending the lifetime value of that customer, and it's building an engaged community. And it's selling to your community first, whether that's 10 people, 100 people, or 10,000 people. That's what we're looking at. Now, the common mistake that most of us are making is we're so focused on building awareness. We're so focused on, what are my social media numbers? How the fuck has that person got so many more than me? Like, why are their reels doing so well? Without knowing what's underpinning or what you need in your business. So work from back to front, right? If you have got customers, if you've been selling them products and services, if they like what you do, your first job is to build an engaged community, right? That's your first job, is to get your email community sorted. It's to commit to emailing them on a regular basis. It's to build that, because if you don't, you'll have too much to do. If you start with the building awareness, you'll have too much to do. Start with, if I've got loads of phone numbers, but I need to start emailing them, start pulling those email addresses first, right? And then we can actually work with these clients. We can survey them. We can say, oh, guys, I'm thinking about doing a launch. What would you like to see? Here's a £25 Amazon local company voucher. I'd have to do local company. It would be suicide for me to offer an Amazon voucher. But like, here's a £25 voucher for another business member of the Mompreneur Revolution if you fill in this survey. Start to find out what their aspiration chart is. What are they looking for? What would you like to see more of from me? Now, that's if you've got customers that have bought from you in the past. Then let's just say I've got a following on social media. I don't need to focus on the build an email community. Focus on your sales and conversion. If you've got 100 followers of the right people on social media, can you get a 2% conversion rate there? Can you get 2 of those people to buy your product from you and buy your high-end product from you? So focus on creating something that you can scale. Now, you can only scale when you've got specific products. We cannot flip-flop between them. And there's my second typo I've spotted. Get customers to buy one of your packages through regular launches, right? So let's just turn around and say, okay, do you know what? I've got a business. I've been building up a following. I haven't quite sold to them. Your job come January or February, or when you get back into your business, is to do a launch, is to create a product, to create an offer, and to do a launch. If you're just starting out, or you've recently pivoted, or you're not quite sure, your job is to build awareness, right? Your job is to look at your social media following and think, how many of those are my ideal client? Set yourself some targets for some real strategies to grow your social media following, and to think, okay, what's better for me? 20 of the right people or 200 of the wrong people, and be totally open and honest. Look at your social media engagement. Seeing all the typos now. Look at your social media engagement. A really cool trick, by the way, especially at the end of the year, is to go through all of your social media for the year. Look at your oh God, you know the thing when they tell you your engagement, look at your insights, pick out your best performing posts and rewrite them, right? People learn from repetition. People learn from the same message told in different ways. So if you wrote a post about, why you started your business, and it was a lovely post of you and your family, you could tell that in a live video. Again, you could tell that in a reel again. If you know that it's already generating engagement, do that. So if you're starting out, if it's early days, focus on really, really knowing your ideal client inside out, so that every post is speaking to them. Now, when I asked at the beginning for the people who learn in sequence, this is yours, right? This is yours. Focus on step, whichever one of these you're focusing on. If you've already got customers, focus on the right-hand side. Focus on that, mending that leaky bucket, getting your email list, getting your community, working with your community so they become, co-creators in your next product or service. If you're somewhere in the middle where you're like, okay, I've got a following, but I've not quite sold to them, let's get a product created and let's launch that. And if you're at the early stage, just build awareness, just focus on the building awareness. Some top tips for me are: segment your email list. MailerLite will allow you to do this for free, right? So for example, if I upload anyone who's come to a masterclass, I can upload that onto my MailerLite. I can put them into a segmented list that says masterclass. So I can then ask, oh, did you enjoy the masterclass? Here's the Epic Academy, give intro offers first to your email list. Okay, they are your most valuable customers. They have spent, even if they've only bought from you once, they've still bought from you more than the other person who has not, right? Notice on Black Friday, you got exclusive offers through email lists. Like New Look had me hounded. I can't even remember when I gave them my email address. But that's one of the top tips, is like, just use them. Just say, guys, here's an exclusive offer, right? You might want to give your existing customers a freebie, an add-on. Very rarely I'd say money off, but a freebie and add-on for buying from you. Rewrite your best social media posts. You can rewrite them as emails. Talk to one person in every post, in every launch, in every product creation. It's, terms like you and us and I sometimes, as opposed to they. You'd only talk about they if you were talking about an enemy. If you're like, they have just announced new lockdowns, they're an enemy, we have to adhere to them, and don't make it personal, because we've all got a really fucking hard time. Like, it is really, really hard, but launches actually help us take the emotion out of running a business, because we consistently promote things. Right, I have a challenge for everyone right now. So if you could just map out the 12 months of the year, I have them there for you in case you're wondering what they look like. But I want you to take a look at it now, and we're going to try and get some predictability into your year next year, based on your ideal client, based on what your client wants. When is the right time to launch something to them? And when is the right time for you to do your building awareness, your growing your audience, and your building of your products, etc. So, for example, anyone, life coaches, weight loss industry, starting new classes, January is a perfect time for that. spring cleaning, looking at our homes, bringing new things in, redesigning things, March, April time for that, look. And if you don't have a report of, last year's finances, ideally you would have, you could look at when you're busy last year and start to look at the trends each year. So for me, I know January, be really busy. The summer, I mean, mums don't want to work during the summer, and that's fair enough. Who could blame anyone? So it's kind of like, well, actually from an income perspective, how do we protect ourselves outside of that? Sorry guys, I'm just conscious of the time. We're almost there, so we've got time for Q&A. So growth in your business comes from consistently attracting customers into your business and taking those customers through a clearly crafted journey. So my invitation for you after tonight is to have the courage to create that journey based on the purpose that you want to create in your business, and to validate that with what your clients want. Building a product suite allows you to offer a complete solution to your customers' problems. It's what they need. People want to buy from people that they like, and it's so much easier to say, let's come back here for dinner, than it is to go and find a new restaurant. Launching what you offer and committing to launching instead of selling, creating it's like holistically. I went on a date once with a police officer, and he said we holistically solve a murder from the outside in. So launching is like, it's like getting all of the clues to the crime and bringing it all in, but it means you become more intentional with your sales. It means you can look at trends in your industry. It means you can look at trends in your personal life and your family life. And it means you can plan around, knowing with confidence that not every launch is supposed to work, and that you can test and measure. Oh, I'm really proud of us. We did it on the time. So I'm going to stop the share, and then I'm going to come back to the question and answers to see if I can answer any questions from everyone. Oh, come on, Monica.
Yeah, well, we know we can use the email addresses to send newsletters and so on. Can we use any, I don't know, software, program or anything like that for sending messages to phone numbers? What's the legal stand if I got the phone number from a customer when they placed an order,
I would check with GDPR to double check that, but as far as I'm aware, they'll have to opt into using their phone. A way around that, and if you go on to Facebook, they have free training on it, is how to use Facebook Messenger bots to grow your business. Okay. So lots of people now, they'll get you to sign up on Messenger, and because that's as much on your phone as your WhatsApp, they'll then send you the WhatsApp as well. Now, another thing is that you could have on a landing page, or you can have on an order form, you could click to say, click here if you don't want us to use it for advertising purposes. Mm-hmm. I signed up for a goal setting workshop this week, and I've been getting text messages every day to remind me, but I did opt in for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If do you know anybody who's using WhatsApp for business? Do you need to have like a second phone? Because it can be connected to the existing account, can it?
You can only have one WhatsApp on your account, so you either have a business account or a personal account.
Okay, so you need a second phone.
But lots of the baby massage classes, lots of the communities are using WhatsApp now, because everyone's using WhatsApp anyway.
Okay.
Any more questions? Oh, come on, Debbie.
Just was going to ask you about Trello and this. Does it have like I use MailChimp?
Yes.
Is that the one that you use, and does that link together or no?
Yeah, so Trello is like a project management software, so you could go in and like you can set up a free account, and you could like manage your diary, or you could do like your content calendar on there. So an example would be, like I said, if you wanted to check all of your best performing posts, you could just go and copy those into a Trello board, and then you could rewrite them, or when you're stuck for something, you could be like, oh, that post performed well, I'm just going to use it. But Trello is really good for managing your to-do list and project management as well. Okay.
Do you have any other recommendations for email sending out ease? Because actually MailChimp isn't super easy. Yeah. I've got it now, but for other people starting out, I wouldn't, it's not the easiest starter. Is there any other ones?
MailerLite is amazing, and MailerLite can do your automation as well. So for anyone who has like a freebie on their website, you know, you can sign up through MailerLite, or if you're creating a waiting list, and MailerLite's cheaper and way better than MailChimp, and it hooks up with websites, it hooks up with WordPress and Squarespace. But for example, like they could sign up to your wait list about the flowers, and then they could get a message back on, thanks for signing up for a wait list, here's a little bit more about us, and here's what's available to buy now. And you can get a few emails sent out in between.
I'll check it out, thank you.
And if anyone who's using MailerLite, if you Google MailerLite Email Academy, or if you just go onto the resources section of their website, they want your content to perform well. They want people to open your emails. So in their emails, they have like 100 ideas for Christmas content. And they have all of the headers. In their ideas, they'll tell you the average open rates for your industry. So you'll know if you're performing well or not and what you need to change. And you can A/B test things. So let's say you don't quite know which is, you know, like which heading people are open. You could test it going to 2 audiences, and then you can find out which one is working better for you. It's really good, and it's free for most people up until about 1,000. So it's really handy to use as well. Any more questions? Okay. I have a question for everyone. I'm just going to start at the top and work our way around. What are you committing to focusing on in your business right now? What are you taking away from today's workshop that you're going to work on? I will start with you because I'm going by my screen. I'll start with you, Monica, because you're up at my top left.
Yeah, I want to commit to spend more time on my business and prepare a launch, maybe in January or February, and with new products that would be complementing, you know, what I'm selling. I want to raise awareness among my customers, what else I can do for them already, but probably they don't know. So, for example, the tie bags, cushion covers, label runners, if they buy made-to-measure curtains. Yeah, because I just only ask the customers if they want those, if they inquire about that product, but not probably if you go to my Instagram, you won't see information like that. So that would be a good idea, I guess.
Perfect, cool, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Jennifer.
Hi. I think for me to organise my customer journey and then have a calendar of events, of launch times, and just thinking a more holistic approach to my year so that I can get everything to work together. Yeah.
And that'd be amazing for planning back, so you can start to say, well, how much of a launch time do I need and what's necessary, and build waiting lists as well. Perfect, cool. Thank you. Nai.
For me, it's going to be working on mapping out my customer journey and self-discipline.
Yes, perfect. I'll think of some other cool resources for mapping out your customer journey as well, but I would recommend setting, if anyone's kind of like, oh, I'm not quite sure, it's signing up for like freebies or intro products, because I know yours is a service-based, so signing up for freebies and mapping out and then going onto their website and seeing what journeys are there as well, and that'll help give you some ideas of what's possible for you as well. Perfect. Donna.
I'm committing to growing my email community. So I've only got a pathetic 21 people on my MailChimp list at the moment. But I do have 60 customers that regularly buy from me. So I just need to get them on that list, because not many of them are on it.
Yay, amazing. And bear in mind what we've just done with the math with 13 people spending £13 with you about what's possible. So just factor that, but yeah, definitely getting the emails. And you could start to create, so depending on how people book on, just automate that process coming across, be it from your booking software, whatever, but they just go on automatically.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And dare I say it, you need to get the block booking sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the product for the massage, so that we're getting them signing up for 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I know that I asked you and then I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah. No, you're right.
Thank you. Liz.
Oh, it's so hard to think. I think for me, it's committing to basically going back to basics and clearly defining what I offer. So what products I offer, and stick with the bespoke for now and get that kind of nailed and get that message out to folk and be consistent with that. And then think about adding in other products. Like, I really enjoy the sweet treat selection boxes. Don't want that to kind of fall by the wayside. So I need to think about ways of maybe modifying it and reintroducing it as a product, but not as it exists at the moment. And just kind of having a proper think about that. And it's getting the balance between, because before it was like 6 different bakes like once a month, which doesn't sound much, but it's really intense, like along with the other bespoke stuff. So I think I might I need to have a proper think of how to rejig that and still offer it in some form. And then I think, like Nai said, just more self-discipline as well. And final thing, not giving up again. So just keep going and not panicking and not letting the imposter syndrome kick in. So
Amazing. But equally we need time off sometimes as well.
yes, yeah, that's true. Yes, but I've had enough time off, so that's fine. So
I would be looking at like your pricing for the bespoke, but having like a checklist of like the price implications of what you're doing in terms of your profit, and also the energy implications of what you're doing in terms of your input. So it's like, yeah, from a price perspective, we love doing the sweet treat box, but from an energy perspective, so having the scoring thing and what's going to balance out for you, and maybe we could, and we could do the pop-ups. Then we could like a Cadbury's cream egg. Like, would they sell if they were available all year round? Probably not. But we could say, right, 3 times a year, I'm going to launch the sweet treat boxes.
Yeah, because
stick to that.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, because I thought about doing it like going back to like once a month, but actually, because they're seasonal, I could do it quarterly. You know, so, and that would still work. So yeah, gotta think on that. So thanks, Ola.
Thank you. Thanks, Liz. Stacey.
Hi, so I have a launch idea, but I've realised after tonight I've not really been active on my social media. So before I start selling, I'm going to try and build awareness again. And I'm also quite excited about the product suites and looking at a different range. So looking at my ideal client. So my ideal client is like a creative person that runs a creative business, and looking at the products that they offer and looking at how I can create something similar. I don't know, that just gave me, I had a quick look on one of them, and that gave me some ideas that I could definitely create under my like life coaching umbrella sort of thing. So yeah, that's quite exciting. I like that taking that away.
I love it. Thank you so much, Stacey. Thank you. Carol, I can't really tell if you're there or not. So, oh yeah, yay! You're on mute.
There we go. I think for me it's a wee bit different because it's pulling back a little bit next year. So a lot of people have mentioned self-discipline, and it's still self-discipline, but it's a self-discipline to turn around and say no to people.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a biggie for me. With various father-in-laws, dementia, Parkinson's, end stages, so I know I've got a bereavement probably early next year. I need to be putting myself first, but I've got the business now after 5 years to a stage where I can do that and not worry about it and know I'll still have money coming in. So I'm in a really lucky position, but it's saying no and sticking to it.
Yes. Yeah. And remember that for all of us, the one thing that we have in common is that there's a person behind our business, and that person comes first.
Mm-hmm. So sorry for switching my camera off. Whilst we were on here, I found out my first book's gone live on Amazon. So I was listening to everything at the same time as putting the socials out for that. So as you were giving the information about, you know, the launch and what to put in and things, I was literally looking at that and typing it into my mailing list at the same time as you were delivering it. So that's
oh yay, congratulations, that's amazing. Oh yay, congrats. Oh, thanks, Carol, congrats to you. Thank you.
But at least what you gave us, it has been used within the workshop. It's not even being used tomorrow, it's been used now. So thank you.
And I think you worry nowadays if you're not multitasking, you know, I think that's what we just do, don't we? Oh, thanks, Carol.
So overexcited at seeing it had gone live, so overexcited. So that's why I switched the camera off, because I wanted to keep listening but not look like I was distracted. So sorry.
Oh, no, don't apologize. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thanks, Carol. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Thank you for tonight. It's been awesome. And I think, you know, yeah, the big one for me is going to be email. Definitely still years later, I've not got my email community really as a priority. So focusing on building that email community, getting real consistency around that just generally, but upping it around launches. Really something I really want to do is to get a lot of automation in around my emails as much as possible. A lot of what you were saying there about, you know, emailing clients to say, oh, you've done this, what about this, is something that I haven't got in, but I think it's going to be really valuable because my product suite, I now feel I have a good product suite that I'm comfortable with. I have a good customer journey. I'm trialing things, I'm testing things, I'm feeling in a good space with all of that, but I think I could work smarter, a lot smarter with that, because I'm like a headless chicken trying to kind of like do it all manually, and it's overwhelming. So I really want to get clear on that and find a way of launching to get the new, so I've got a way of kind of like nurturing my existing clients now with the customer journey and the product suite. But finding a way of launching that really works for me, I think, is going to be really key, because I did quite a bit of launching last year and I decided I actually hate launching. I was like, I hate launching, it doesn't work. All these stories about launching. But I do recognize I need to get new clients in, or I need to get my Facebook community, my email community that haven't bought from me yet buying from me in some way. So I recognize I do need to launch, but I need to find a way that works for me. So those are my kind of priorities.
Oh, amazing. I mean, and do you know, there's so many examples out there right now, people who are doing that community building really well. Like, I know I mention Snag all the time, but the way that they've championed their community in every launch, so it's like, it's not icky because they're not, it's about like the championing of people. And Dubsado, I don't know if you've heard of Dubsado as a project. It's really, really good for that automation on a deep level. Does that make sense? Because it's a bit harder on the other ones. And ClickFunnels is really good as well, and so is Kajabi.
Yeah, all of these I've heard of and I've been considering. It's just the financial outlay.
Yeah. Dubsado is really good because it works with your one-to-one clients as well, and you can also have other products that you sell on there, so you can have all of your automation there. I've started using it. It's really, really good.
I've heard really good things about it. Yeah,
and it's more cool. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laura, hi.
Hi there. Oh, thank you. That's been really good. I've met amazing people in my breakout room already. I'm so happy to connect with new people. But anyway, enough about that. What am I going to do? Build an email community. So I'm not consistent with that at all. I've got an email community, but I don't use it enough. So step 3 in that 3-step process I need to be doing.
Yay. And have you got your freebie in terms of, like, for your industry, what's going to get people opted on so you can do an exchange for the email?
Well, we're doing them. I've got a few different things that I do, and we're doing a masterclass in January. So we're going to be doing that. That's all in process at the moment. So yeah, it's just getting a bit more. So I've got an engaged community, but I'm not like nurturing the step 3. That's the bit that I need to get better at.
I should have put in the presentation, if we could make a tiny flip in our mind from email community to owned media. Like if you think about what you actually own in your business, the only glasses are up, it's serious. The only thing that you actually own is your email community.
Yeah.
And you can export that. So like you're not stuck with them, you can download it. So if it's like, actually, hang on a second, that's our shop, that's our physical premises that others don't have. But like your Facebook group, you could ask for email addresses when people sign up to that and get your freebie.
Yeah.
No, make that a no-brainer. And they don't, you won't deny them entry if they don't give it, but you could just say email address and one other question, get it from that. You can have your link in bio, join the community, not sign up for a newsletter, join the community. You can have, so the masterclass that you're doing, free masterclasses are great for building email communities because loads of people sign up and they don't show up, but actually you want their email address. So if you're doing that through Eventbrite as well, just you can import that straight across to MailerLite as well. So there's this, I had that as a potential slide and I didn't use it, but I'll take a photo and I'll pop it over to you about like, there's like 10 or 12 different ways that you grow your email list for free.
Right. Okay.
So many
Thank
ways.
you.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura. Thank you. Debbie, what are you focusing on?
I'm trying not to be overwhelmed actually with ideas. So that's my problem generally. But I think the product suite thing, making sure I've got clear what options are available, and having enough of a range. So I really want everybody to have access to it. So I do want like, you know, the baby bouquet all the way up to the Whopper. But yeah, I don't quite know what that'll look like. So I'm going to spend a bit of time on that. But because I'm seasonal, fresh flowers don't start till April. And generally I don't really know what to do in the beginning of the year. So I'd like to plan out my year, which I was just writing down there, you know, the coming soon kind of launch thing and planning that out. And the email list as well, because I haven't really nurtured the people who supported me, so giving them the options, and then yeah, Mother's Day plants and getting people excited about things coming and the behind the scenes stuff. I recently quit my other job, and so now I feel like I can actually be myself there, so that's going to be an exciting year and just being comfy with that somehow. So I feel like I've got a few months to work on that, my voice, if that doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I love that. And bear in mind, your email list will be how you can sell the future ones as well. So how do they order from a website whereby you can recommend the next big product as well? So you could always have like people also buy, and you could recommend the bigger size product as well, or you can ask them to upgrade as well.
Yeah, and also, but it's also about because the seasonality of it, it's sort of a monthly subscription thing. So you get the best from the field for that month, and it's kind of creating that imagery of all the amazing flowers you're going to get, and then you help the bee, you know, so you've got your ethical buy-in, but it's pretty genuine. That's amazing. So just need to make it work now.
Yeah, and I think the consistency, I think if people are talking about like self-discipline and taking a step back, it is having your CEO meeting. I cannot recommend that enough. Just like that sacred time, and aim for consistency over time. It cannot be, oh, I need to have 52 or I failed. It's like, what would it look like next year if you had 30 over the course of the year? You know, what impact would that have on your business? And you remain strategic, and you called yourself out on where you get distracted.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you call it? Your CEO meeting?
CEO meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Or just a coffee by myself in Starbucks.
Yeah. Somewhere quiet. Yeah, no, I get you. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Debbie. Thank you. Medea, are you still there?
I am. I've been in and out of the room just checking on Isa, so that's why I just turned it off, because he needs like complete darkness. Otherwise, he's wide awake. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the question. We were asking everyone what's the one thing that they're going to focus on.
Yeah, so I was writing my little list, and I totally related to Debbie there when she said that she has so many ideas, and it's just focusing. Like that is me. Like like I said to you before, the notes on my phone are just like full of ideas, which I just overwhelm myself with, and I'm like, oh, like where do I start now? And I don't even look back on them. So that's definitely one thing. Another thing is this. Obviously, we've always spoken about social media and being really consistent with it. But throughout this workshop, I was just thinking, I could plan out offers throughout the year, like seasonal kind of offers as well. Excuse me. And then another thing I was thinking was like offering different accessories as well, which we don't really do at all. Like, you know, so I'm thinking about that. And we have, since speaking to you before, we're really focusing on getting lots of email addresses from all of our patients now as well. So when we do our big launch, hopefully we can get something out there. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's Dee, who had to leave the call earlier, she does a thing. So I'm just going to mute you because that's the background. Sorry, Midi, I'm not being rude. She does a thing whereby she has like a mind dump like once a week, where she takes everything and she just writes it down, and then she does her focus. And it's great for ideas persons because your ideas are still protected. They're there. And especially for the ideas people, to create a step-by-step to-do list, so that you don't lose anything. Right, this is my priority 1, what's everything that I need to do there? This is my priority 2, what's everything? So that we don't have a massive list that's not relevant, that you can say, right, this is relevant to, you know, me planning out what I can sell over the next year. You know, this is relevant to me growing my email list, and from there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Danielle, last but not least, are you still there?
I am. I've just kept my camera off because it's given me a lot of feedback. So yeah, I want to focus more on my customer journey. I'm in the process of redoing my website and just launched a new booking system. So it's trying to connect it all together, and I'm hoping to launch it for the new year. So I'm desperately working away.
Yay. Oh, that's amazing. Congrats to you. If anybody is thinking about launching anything in the new year, pre-plan your Christmas content now. So people, the consumption of social media goes up, but the creation goes down. So this is a great time for you to get onto Reels or get onto, you know, consistent posting that doesn't have to be salesy, so that you'll actually stand out more than any of the other businesses who maybe close for 2 weeks over Christmas or take a week off. Like one of my clients and I were doing a reel challenge over Christmas, where it's like, okay, reels are quite saturated now, let's schedule loads of Christmas related reels, everything that are still relevant to our target market, so we're on their radar. So that's what I'd recommend over the Christmas period for all of us, really, but definitely for you, Danielle, if you're launching in January. Oh, perfect. Oh, guys, thank you so much for today. Have you guys enjoyed it? Yeah, if there's anything that we didn't cover, please feel free to drop me an email. We're not finished. I am going to send out an email tomorrow with everything, the link to the social media masterclass, but also next week we will be having the review of 2021, which is included. Yeah, it is 2021, which is included for everyone who purchased for it. That's basically to kind of put to bed 2021 in the nicest possible way, but to look back at income, sales, self-care, all of the things that are important. So I'll send you a Zoom link and a date for that as well. It will also be recorded, and you'll also get sent out the worksheet as well. If you have enjoyed today, I would really, really appreciate a tag on social media just to say that you enjoyed the masterclass. That would be really, really greatly appreciated. And I will see you all next week. And thanks so much for today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.